Okay, this may be disconnected because it's 3 or 4 days. What thing do you do alone, ha ha ha, after which you sleep? What accomplishment so distinct and unequal to the rest, the smaller ones, the deeds you know in your bones that are the deepest expression of you and only you, and therefore the deeds that only you can do, after which it is the great sleep. Let me explain. In 1986, I was the tail end of a very frustrating year at the National Theatre of London, in London. I shouldn't have been frustrated, as I now know, but I was young and hadn't hit my stride. I hadn't taken the terrible step that had hinted itself to me since I was 21 in my second year at drama school, had landed on me square, heavy, and brilliant then, and then at 26, the terrible step then showed at last in my performance, full at 29. A friend and I, had made a show, 2 short Tennessee Williams plays, at the National Theatre in a platform performance, and took them to a fledgling fringe venue in Covent Garden, and they hit. The reviews came in, confirmations of what we knew, and I walked home to Camberwell because I could not afford the bus. Then I slept. It fades, of course, but it happens again and again. This was just once that I remembered because I couldn't afford the bus. I have hunted this experience all my life. It is very simple. It is not a reward for work done. It is not an Oscar. It is not a gift from anyone else. It is not an affirmation from my tribe, acceptance, love, recognition, offer of money. It's much harsher. It is perhaps knowing that I have done unto others what has been done unto me, in the brilliant sense, the lovely sense. It is doing what one set out to do that causes children, the child in us who witnessed the performance, to shiver with recognition. There will be clutterings of other things, fool's golds and misunderstood honors. There will be leaps and bloody noses, and you will be alienated like Achilles. He is an archetype maligned, understandably, but do understand he stands at many centers that need understanding. Auda Abu Tayi, I think it's spelt, played by Anthony Quinn so beautifully, so well, he is almost comic, was described, the real person, by Lawrence of Arabia, as irascible and moody until he killed another person. He had a gift for it, killing. Like Achilles, for both people, the gift was valued highly in the world they operated. Once we decide this is not a gift we value, we still seem very keen on killing, but would rather it were done by a pudgy button pusher in Oklahoma than a warrior on the greasy grass. We are in a pickle. It is good to realize that all warriors before gunpowder were terrorists. They looked like terrorists, they raged like terrorists, and they killed like terrorists. The Western war maker can kill and not know it. His passion, her passion, is so low not to be confused with fear. We have done this so long, showed up with guns when the opposite barely had bows, fired from far away, drove for days to see the bodies we had emptied of life. We can imagine we are decent folk, but every droner is a terrorist. Don't delude yourselves any more than today and tell me this is normal. You are the new thing, in fact. You are the Nazi in evening dress. The fantasy of the moral army is a vital invention which hasn't been discussed since A Little Touch of Harry in the Night. We are still growing out of the end of war, which was World War I. Now the killing has to be civilian. All the pros are hiding behind human shields, all of them. Warmongers normalize their wares from behind desks. Now, I think the analogy is not murky. My mother said it once, the closest thing to war is theater. She might have read it or really come up with it. The courage, the collectiveness, the high feeling, the sense of risk, not as high as trench warfare, which was barely war, nor the pudge in Oklahoma, but more than all the rest. The greatest prize in all, what combines Achilles, Laurence Olivier, Lawrence of Arabia, is excellence, the performance of excellence, with Yehudi Menuhin and Van Morrison, Margot Fontaine and Judy Garland, and all their lucky sleeps. Talent is its own reward, dears. Not to be confused with merit, which can be and is sought after, stolen, manufactured, and faked. Achilles' argument to Agamemnon, give me the small thing I am owed. I don't need what you need, just that, her. Agamemnon refuses and Achilles goes on strike. Marxism. Only the capitalist assumes Achilles wants what he has, to be him, the fatal flaw in the capitalist Bible, this misunderstanding. Charlie Rose asks, in my fantasy, what makes you happy? Answer, never having to be you.